Here I am, back at the canal. It's about 5:30 p.m. This was around Memorial Day weekend, and I've got my ultralight set up, throwing my little paddle tail, and I'm expecting that I may run into some schoolies. Now, a little bit of a trigger warning. You're about to hear some line rip a little bit. So here's my question for you. A, is my drag loose? Or B, am I about to hook into a monster? You be the judge. So now that I got my first fish, I'm wondering if there's anything bigger around. Fortunately, I also brought my bigger rod with a stronger reel, and I put on a bigger mackerel pattern paddle tail. Threw that out there. Turns out that I got an unexpected follower. Let's freeze it right here. That yellow line represents the length of my lure, and that red line represents the length of my follower. Little fish, big appetite. Gotta respect that. We may have a future 40-incher on our hands, assuming it doesn't get eaten by this guy first. Remember that old Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell song, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing? Well, sometimes this holds especially true for fish. Because why chase around the lure that a silly fisherman is throwing at you when you can go after the real deal? Case in point, it's a slow day at the local beach when I see the sea robin scampering around in the shallow water looking for a snack. So of course, I have to throw my little paddle tail at him and see if he bites. Well, as former President George W. Bush once said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again." So after a few more casts, I had to move to another spot. I put on a small circle hook, tipped it with some old frozen squid, and things went a little better this time around. course, success is sweet, but you're only as good as your last outing. Turns out that this was nothing compared to the tag team challenge I was about to face a few days later. Here's where the real wrestling match begins. Now keep in mind, when you're handling sea robins, they've got a lot of spines, including around their gills and up top. Add to that the fact that this guy just didn't want to open his mouth, and I got a little more than I bargained for. Gotta admire the toughness and resilience of that fish, especially after such a vicious body slam. But pretty soon, I got the upper hand using my leverage and finesse. At first, I thought this may have been the same fish as before, but when I looked a little more closely, I could see more white on the edges of the fins, and the body looked a little more pale. You can go back, take a look, and let me know what you think. Anyway, I like to believe that it was just trying to avenge its sibling against the evil alien abductor, but ultimately coming up short. This one was easier to unhook because it was stuck a little better, plus it cooperated and opened its mouth. Finally, on a side note, I usually let these fish go, but I have heard they taste pretty good, and I did get a pretty appetizing photo from a friend in Japan who had sea robin tempura at a restaurant. Guess that means I'll have to try it at some point this summer and let you know how it tastes. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching.